Alright, how to play, or how I play, Don't Stop Believing by Journey. So, classic jam, we all know it, we all love it. If you haven't heard it, I don't know what planet or nation you're living in, my friends, but this is a song I'm very familiar with. I've learned it for cover band on bass, on guitar. I also play it in my acoustic solo act as well. So, it's a great tune, and if you're a person that plays out, you would probably agree that if you know this song, it's one you get requested to overplay quite frequently. But you'll notice this video, it says how to play it acoustically, and I'm using an electric guitar, and it is kind of an irony, but acoustically and for performance purposes, I play 7-string guitars. So, teaching this song, I'm assuming most of you are going to be playing this on a 6-string. So I've got my handy Jägermiester guitar here with me. But my 7-string is the one that you see me play most frequently in the live streams. So, again, folks, this is more of an acoustic arrangement. So there's the solo in there, and we're just going to be covering how do you play this. I guess you could say it's a singer player arrangement if you're doing it without a looper pedal, without the solo section. So I'm skipping the solo section. So if you guys came here for how to play it acoustically with the solo, I'm sorry that won't be featured in this video. We're going to be going over the basic structure of the song and some of the chords. Now, this song is in the key of E major, so it's going to assume you're familiar with the basic chords of E major, but I'm going to go through them. We have E, F sharp minor. This is on the 2nd fret. It's a bar chord, dreaded bar chord for you you folks on the beginner's path of the guitar. Intermediate folks, you'll be like, oh, cool, we got some bar chords. G sharp minor. Now A, there's going to be 2 versions of A that I use for this. This is the A major bar chord on the 5th fret. B major, we're moving back up here to the 2nd fret starting on the A string. If also, if you want these in tab, it's 2 4 4 4 starting on the A string. Only 2 fingers bar in this. It's kind of like the metal sign, but with these 2 fingers. It's a challenge, one of these challenging bar chords for those of us that are in the beginning stages again. But 2 4 4 4 starting on the 2nd fret of the A. C sharp minor, this would be 4 6 6 5 starting on the A. And then there's another chord, and I talk about this in most videos, the D sharp diminished chord. Every major chord has a diminished chord as a finisher. And again, this is just the diminished triad. We're not talking about the diminished 7th for you folks that are in the 7th, 9th, 11th. We're not going there for this video. We're sticking with the triads, the basic triads. And then up here on the E major, the finisher. Now, I take some artistic license with this song, and I don't mean a little bit with the arrangement, but also when you're playing acoustically, one of the beauties of the acoustic instrument is being able to get as many open strings ringing as possible. So one of the things that I like to do is when I'm playing arrangements, how do we get those open strings into chords? So instead of a chord that sounds like this, you have a chord that sounds like this. So all I'm doing here, the top 2 strings in the key of E major, B and E, for those of you that have some theory knowledge, we've got E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. That's the scale tones. That's the scale pattern for E major. So the 1st and the 5th, and you don't have to know this for you guys that aren't really theory folks, happen to be the B and E open strings that are always legal to play during any part of this song, and they always sound good, and it gives this jangly quality to the arrangement. So in the beginning of the song, there's that keyboard part, right? Here goes copyright infringement. Yeah, the beginning, and that's the other thing. For you guitar players out there, like, oh, this is a keyboard song. How can I play this? Hold on. There it is, the iconic arrangement. So as a guitar player, the chords, if we talk about the chords, this is jumping all over the place, and this goes back to Pachelbel's canon for anybody who's wanting to kind of link this to other songs, like how, you know, this is a very useful song to link to other songs. Green Day's Jaded. If you learn this, you can learn Green Day too. It's got the same chords in it. Do you have the time? But that's for another lesson. So first chord is E major. Ba 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 da da da. B major. But again, instead of playing this bar chord, it doesn't have a lot of jangle to it. I'd like to open it up, make it sound more keyboardy. We're not going 2 4 4 4. We're going 2 4 4 0 0. Open B, open E. So you have this. So you have ba da 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 da. This is C sharp minor. Again, same. You'll notice I just moved the power chord shape up from B to C sharp, 4th position, 4th fret. Da da da. This is a chord called A sus2. Starting on the A string, 0, 2, 2, 0, 0. So this is a basic arrangement for those first 4 chords. Where, if you're the next thing I'm going to show you is a little more advanced. But if you're looking for a basic arrangement where you can kind of get the sound of the intro. So let's go around 1. E, B, C sharp, A. And you can hear the chord, the piano part. Now, rotation number 2 starts with an E again. B, da da, G sharp minor. There's no escaping the bar chord with this one, my friends. It's 4th, 4 6 6 4 4 4. Da da da. And this is the other version of the A chord. Now, same thing with this one. I like to jangle it at the top. B and E open again. So the fretting for this chord, you have to leave those 2 strings open. 5 7 7 6 open open. 5 7 7 6 0 0. So intro, basic arrangement. Ba da 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 na 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 da da E, B, G sharp minor, A. So if you guys, if you don't want to do these kind of open jangly chords, these bigger ones, there's a way you can even take it back farther. You can just do the straight power chords, which is E. So again, you got the 2 rotations. The first 2 chords are always the same. E to B, right? So rotation number 1 is E, B, C sharp minor, A. Second rotation, E, B, G sharp minor, A. Next up is the more advanced version, I would call it, and it's not exact to what the keyboard's playing, because the keyboard, you'll hear it. You'll hear if we go back into this piano part, it's going this ba-doo ba-doo da-doo da-doo ba-doo ba-doo. Now, if we were talking about classical finger picking, we could get really close to this part, and we're talking a lot of levels above where I'm showing you guys here. But for this, what I like to do, this requires autonomy, and that means independence of the thumb and these two fingers here. The melody line of this song, you know what, I'm going to wait till the end of this video. I'm going to wait to the end of this video to show that advanced part, because we're going to get through the basic chords, and then we'll go to that advanced part at the end of the video. So, because I want to get through the basic chord progressions here. So we got, again, the intro. So I think the record is pitched a little weird, because back in the 80s and prior to that, we had some tape speed issues before all the digital stuff came in, so it may not sound exactly in tune with the record, but I'll play it with it, and we'll just do the basic chords here. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. Now you'll notice I'm not Steve Perry. I'm a baritone. A baritone, for our singers out there, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, baritone, there's basically three classifications of the male voice: bass, baritone, tenor. Baritone is where a lot of males fall into. Then you have lyric baritones there. Like Usher, for example, you wouldn't think he's a baritone, but he is. Usher of yeah, you know. But Steve is a tenor, and a very, 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 especially this was when he was in his prime. So these notes, I sing an octave below him, a whole octave below him, and it's more comfortable. I think it sounds better with my voice for the acoustic, and this is a whole nother video topic in itself of how to customize a song to fit your voice instead of trying to force your voice to fit the song and the arrangement that was written for an entirely different person. It's like if you have an Impala and a Lamborghini. Well, bad example. If you have a car that's designed to go from 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, but it's not really a family car, which is designed for long-term longevity in life and that. So different voices fit different keys, and there's a total of 12 keys, which means that if this key doesn't fit your voice, you can pick one of the other 12 that works. The reason I stay in this is the original key that I sing and play the song in. The reason I stay in the original key is because it's very comfortable for me to sing an octave below where he was at on the record, and the arrangement is optimized, meaning that in the rock world they use a lot of open strings, and to try to transpose this song, you could use a capo, right, as we know, and if this, let's say you took it an octave down and the arrangement was too low. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. Now that sounds like I'm pushing the notes a little bit more into some. Oh, that sounds better. A lot of the acoustic gigs I'll play, at least prior to this, the shutdown, until my gigs got wiped away. Most of my gigs go somewhere between 3 to 4 hours long. So I'm singing 3 to 4 hours a night. You straight, no break. So you want to save your voice. It's like doing the marathon. And if I'm going, just a small town girl living in a lonely world. Oh yeah, it sounds great. You're belting out. Yes, but I have 3.5 hours of more material to sing after that. So Customize the voice and the song to what you're doing. And that's a whole nother set of video lessons, as I'm realizing just talking about this. So going back to the song. The awesome thing about it is that progression, E, B, C sharp, A, E, B, G sharp minor, A, goes for the intro, the verses, and some of the breaks of the song. So we shall continue. B, C sharp minor. Oh, sorry, G sharp minor. Lost my place for a second. Just a city boy, C sharp minor. Born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going anywhere. Same thing. Notice I'm ignoring some of the dynamics of the song here. The bum bum, E major. But see, folks, if you're looking to just play along, G sharp, minor. All right, so this is where the song changes. Now, this next part, it's a little tricky, and there's an optimal way to play it, and then there's an easy way to play it. So I'm showing the easy way first. And then we're going to go back and go to the more advanced version, or the more song optimized version, if you will. So here we go. The basic premise of this is that the bass note is droning. It's droning, meaning it's playing the same note over and over and over. Strangers, this is an A, waiting to an E. Up and down the boulevard, their shadows. Right, so that follows it. You can just play those chords along with those notes, A and E. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard in their shadows, searching in the night. All downs is what I'm doing here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and looking just to find emotion. Back to the A. Tricky. So that little transition at the end is, and these are all power chords. Real simple to move these around. B, E, A, E, B. So it's B, E, A, E, B, B, E, A, E, B. And that goes over night. So the somewhere in the night. So, my friends, if you have that, you have everything you need to play the rest of this song. Just those basic things I was showing you there. And a lot of it revolves around power chords. E major is sometimes, especially if it's a more melodic song, these bar chords, they're not liked by a lot of acoustic players at first. If you're more at the intermediate level and beyond, where these are really comfortable for you. Again, the reason I like the jangle is, number one, it's easier to play on the hands when you're singing and playing for long stretches at night in a gig, you know, and just this quality. If you there's a shimmer to it, right? So the right hand pattern here, at its most basic form, if you're singing and playing this, you want to focus on your singing, right? You want to try to make sure singers, as soon as you open your mouth, that's all people care about. They don't care if you're going. They don't care about all these. They don't care about all these fancy techniques that we can do as guitar players. So remember that. If you're singing, oh, I got to make it fancier on the guitar. Yes. But when you're singing and playing, there's three elements, right? We've got the singing, we've got the playing, and then we've got the marrying of them up. So you're learning the song technically 3 times. Some like to think of it as 2.5 times, but you're learning the song 3 freaking times. Here, and then just a small town girl, and this is really a song vocally that you want to put focus on the melody. You don't just a small town girl, just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. 2, 3, 4, just a city boy. 3, born and raised in South Detroit. Now, for our singers out here, this is one of the most helpful things that I can give you. I don't care if you've been singing for 20 years or 1 year. If you cannot sing to a metronome in time, it's great you can sing in tune. It's great you can sing with all kinds of inflection and pitch, but you have to make sure you can also sing to this. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights. So you have that. Then you have this. Don't stop believing. Before you even go to any strumming patterns, what's most important is I talk about the foot all the time. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people. So again, this is an optimized video for if you're training yourself to play this acoustically and trying to sing it at the same time. There's a lot of negotiations that have to happen here between the mouth, the hands, and the ears, and the mind. So here we go. So let's go through this basic arrangement, and we'll hit some of the basic song context here. B, C sharp, A, E, B, G sharp minor, A, open tops, small town girl, B, C sharp minor, living in a lonely world. You took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. You took the midnight train going anywhere. If you want to do something cool here, you know, same chord progression, maybe sing that. 1, 2, 3. I'll sing in the smoking room, smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. Build up here. 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah, G sharp minor, A. This is all A and E here, folks, and you can see A sus2, E major, A sus2. Here's that change. B, E, A, E, B, back to the main progression. Again, we're not worried about that riff yet. That's next. B, C sharp minor, A sus2, E major, B with all these have the open top strings, A, E major, A sus2, progression. B, C sharp, A, same fundamental progression. And you don't even have to play this if you're singing and playing it. You can go right into don't stop, same progression. B, C sharp minor, A, E major, B, G sharp minor, A. And my friends, that is a basic arrangement of the whole song. Now it's time for, I guess you could call it bonus content at the end of the video if you've lasted this long. So I always try to find a good balance when I'm singing and playing. If there's a keyboard arrangement, I'm trying to, how can I capture that keyboard sound? This technique, it's a hybrid technique, and we're going out to our finger pickers right here. So if you want to finger pick this, okay, if you see my right hand, what we're going to do here, and I can show you step by step, there's two parts to this. The first is where you've got the left hand, and it's going to do the melody. And the melody of the original, we're doing the original melody now, that ba-da-da-da-da. So you have, I'll say it in tab because a lot of you guys are more familiar in tab than notes. O, 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 2, 4, O, oh sorry, 2. So that's the first four notes. O, 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 2, 4, 2 on the A string. Excuse me. O, 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 2, 4, 2. So starts on the E string again. O, 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 2, 4, 2. Now, next part, you have da 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 da. That's 2, 4, 6, 4. 2, 4, 6, 4 on the A. 2, 4, 6, 4, or B, C sharp, D sharp, C. So you got, put those two together, you've got O, 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 2, 4, 2, 2, 2, 4, 6, 4. And then the final part of this, up here on the A string, 6th fret, 7th fret, this is D sharp to E, 6, 7, open A. So back to E. So for those of you folks that may already know this riff and you've played it electrically, you know, so that's how the electric arrangement sounds. In the beginning of the song, we've got that keyboard, ba-do, 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 ba-do. So what I like to do is, what I'm doing here is hitting the top two strings, the B and the E. So now we've got this drone again, right? But we also have to marry up this So what that gives you, my friends, is a lot of training with the right hand. If you're familiar with finger picking, it's a really straightforward concept. The first and second finger never stop going. Now that sounds like an incredibly unimpressive guitar part by itself, but if you marry the bass line up to it, and if, again, we do the bass line, it's all the thumb. The bass line is all the thumb in this context, and usually I'm holding the pick in the hand. I'll show you how I'm doing that in a second, but you go... And then you marry that line up that's sort of a half aid flamenco strum. I like to do that to put shimmer stuff on there. So I'm going to play the whole song how I play it after I show you these next parts. The next part, when I'm singing, I don't keep this going over it. It's the chords that I showed you guys earlier on, and the reason for that is I like to try to keep the focus on my voice. And if there's this, just a small town girl living in a lonely world, and also the guitar is diminished, it doesn't, just a small town girl living in a lonely world. So that's my personal preference. Some people may think that this, just a small town girl living, it sounds better with the voice, but to each their own, my friends. You have options. The other part that I want to cover is that strangers. So earlier on in the video I showed you this. A to E, up and down the boulevard in their shadow, right? So what we want to do with this now is create the piano triads, the bat, the bat, the bat, the bat, and these are easy way to remember these chords. They're called they're not called I refer to them in lessons as staircase chords, because if you're down here, if you've ever done this F major 7 in a Van Halen or a Led Zeppelin song, you know, these staircase chords, we're taking it up here, referring to positions, my friends. I talk about positions a lot in my video. Positions refer to wherever your first finger is. So no matter how big the stretch, if I'm here, I'm still in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth position, because that's where my first finger is. So the chords that we're looking at, there's two main ones for the first part of the riff, and then there's two main ones for the second part of the riff. And I'll play it through and then I'll explain it in a second. But instead of strangers waiting, the cool thing about these for your vocalists, players out there, the accents fall on the rhythm where you're saying strangers waiting. This is a little tricky. Up and down the boulevard in their shadow, right? But this next part, we're going to replace the A and the E with this arrangement if you want more of a keyboard type sound for it. So, sorry. Had to reposition myself there. If you're liking this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. YouTube. Folks, staircase chord, starting in the 7th position, B string, right? B string, 7, G, 8, D, 9. Or if you're looking from the D string up the neck, 9, 8, 7. Same thing, 2 frets back. This is actually a B chord, and this is an A chord. Now here's the cool thing. That A note that we were droning, we're going to keep that going, but now we've got the keyboard part. Strangers waiting. 3rd chord here. This changes over into the next part. This is part of an E bar chord, 999, starting on the D string, 999. So I'm going to play through this. Strangers waiting. And it's got the A note droning, so it's that bass line and that keyboard line that are bump, 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 bump. And the guitar is doing that too. Shin, 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 shin. So you're getting that strong sound, that really strong song sound. It's closer to the original arrangement. Then it goes to droning the E note for these next 2 chords, the B and the E. So it's first part, strangers waiting. Up and down the boulevard, their shadows searching in the night. streetlights, people living just to find emotion they hide. So do you hear the alternate dun 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 dun, alternating A and E bass notes there? That's what you're looking if you want to really grab that song arrangement and marry it up to what you're doing acoustically, so it sounds like you're playing the keyboard part of the guitar. Okay, so here is, we'll see, I'll get through most of this, my friends. Or we'll probably do the intro, the verse, the chorus. And Don't Stop Believing, it's the same chord. Don't stop believing. So taking it from the beginning, this is how I particularly like to play Don't Stop Believing for my solo stuff. Lost my focus for that verse. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. Remember those, hear these top strings ringing, except for here, G sharp minor, you can't have those top two ringing anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going anywhere. Back to the keyboard. Ba, 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 ba. Singer in a smoky room, smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Here it is. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard, and their shadows searching in the night. Streetlights, people living just to find emotion they're hiding somewhere in the night. Ba, ba, ba. And back to this. This is more of the electric riff here. So that, my friends, is the majority of what you're going to be playing. That's the extra little sizzle that I add, or toppings that I like to add on my particular arrangement. I don't like to get too complicated because I have over 500 songs now that I play, and if I make an arrangement that's too complex to a song, I have to remember how to play that sometime. This is a song that gets requested all the time in my song list, but so hopefully this was helpful to you guys. I know we're almost at 40 minutes for this video. That's kind of the style I'm doing with these, folks. Again, this was commissioned by somebody that wanted to know how my particular arrangement of this song and what went into it. I don't want to touch too much on the vocals of this song. That's a subject for an entirely another video, and that'll take the length of this beyond what I wanted to do for this particular thing. But I will tell you that going back to the earlier part where I mentioned this song is not a song that you want to, in my opinion, of course, take too many embellishments with, because it is a religion, it is a classic, it is and everybody's drunk at the end of the night bar song, it is a finisher to the wedding song, it is a great campfire song where everybody's singing around and everybody knows the melody, everybody knows how this song is supposed to sound. So if I this would be an example of what I would say is too much artistic licensing with this song, if you're, depending on your purpose. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took that midnight train going anywhere. Just that city boy, I said, born and raised in South Detroit. Or just a small town girl living in a lonely world, yeah. She She took the midnight train going anywhere. Oh, come on. Now, not saying that I wouldn't love to do a tutorial in a different style in this song, but we're for this video we're just keeping true mostly to the original arrangement of the song. And if that little end part inspired anybody to want to hear the country version, the reggae version of this song, I don't know how this is going to be received, folks, because I don't see a lot of this on YouTube where you just light it up and you go raw and uncut and everything is just off the cuff here. So I think that's everything that I wanted to cover with this song. Again, under the solo, you're playing the same progression as you do in the intro, and the same thing underneath the chorus, which on this song it's a weird arrangement because it only goes through the "Don't Stop Believing." It only goes through at the end. Talking about the end, how do I end this song? Because it fades out in the end. You've heard this in concerts. You've heard the "Don't Stop Believing." Hold on to that feeling, street lights, people. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling, street lights, people. Don't stop believing. Thank you, good night, drive safely. Call your Uber, you've had way too much Crown Royal tonight. In my case, of course, it's Jägermeister. But folks, yeah, thank you for listening to this video. Let me know. This is a new avenue for me here on the channel. And as I said in the content description, I'm looking to do a lot more diversified content. It's not just about playing the music for me. I consider myself a entertainer slash musician slash teacher slash music business guy. And when I say that, I mean everything from management to production to I've done a little bit of everything in my career, folks. So if you have any questions or you want things about how to get gigs, how to get in the band, how to keep a band going, I've been through almost every situation you can our young guys out there that are just establishing your career. If there's anything that you have questions on, I've been in everything from the solo acoustic thing that you see me do to a touring Metallica tribute band and a top 40 female fronted pop band and several original projects of my own as well. So and been successful. That's the key, my friends. When you take it out of the garage and into the club, and who knows where we're going to be at after the coronavirus thing happens. But I want to thank you guys for listening, and I hope this was helpful to you. Thanks for tuning in. FGH out.